Hey, it's Vince from Crushing Strength, Fitness, and MMA, where we talk about all things MMA, fitness, weightlifting, etc. Now, today I just want to take a few minutes to talk about nutrition for a little bit. Just wanted to start off with, how we could better fuel our workouts. I'll just walk through what I personally do, not giving advice, just telling you what I do. Usually I'll keep it pretty simple for a pre-workout meal. Something that's not too heavy, not too calorie heavy. Especially focused on things that the body absorbs quickly rather than slow digesting foods. So I usually eat like rice, maybe a little bit of like chicken or eggs. Though if you are going to eat the eggs, you might have to take a little bit more time before you work out because those take longer to digest. But yeah, it's mostly carbs just to get that energy in for the workout, especially when I'm having longer sessions throughout the week, like when I do my full body sessions. You definitely want that energy when you're going in, but you don't want it to be too overbearing. So I never like to be uncomfortably full when I'm about to work out. I make sure that the food's kind of cleared out a little, or maybe I'm even slightly, hungry in some cases. Usually is the best range for me. Not saying that that's going to be the best for all cases, but moving on. Let's talk a little bit about what we burn during exercise. Now that depends on what type of exercise you're doing, of course. So if you're doing a typical weight training session, it's anaerobic, which is just without oxygen, to keep it simple. Um, and for anaerobic workouts, you're not really going to be burning too much fat. You're going to be burning a lot through muscle glycogen. And the reason for that being is because the work isn't long duration enough to where fat starts getting burned to where oxygen capacity becomes a limiting factor. So if you are going into a weight training session, carbs might be more important in the immediate. That's why I always make sure that when I'm doing, especially back and leg sessions, that I have like a carb drink on hand. Nothing too crazy, just maybe, could be a Gatorade or something like that, just so that after, each hard exercise, I could get a little bit of something quick in just to replenish that. Because trust me, if you're doing 3 hard sets of squats, you're going to want a little bit of something just so that you don't feel tired and sluggish after. Now, of course, if you're doing a aerobic session, which is like, your cardio sessions, the energy you burn is a little bit different. The longer that it goes on, the more fat you're going to be burning, the more oxygen you're going to be using. So sometimes with cardio, you'll see that after the first few minutes might be really hard because your body's still kind of going with that, not to put a complicated term in there, but like an ATP PCR system early on in the session where you're burning through a lot of glycogen and immediate energy that's on hand. And then your body, as you start to get into a pace, you start to burn more fat, which kind of sets you at a good pace and allows you to go a little bit longer. Now, for those sessions, you could still use carbs just to get a little bit of that immediate energy back, especially if you're going for long runs or long cardio sessions. But in particular, you're really going to be burning through a lot of water loss from all the sweating, and then you're going to mostly be burning fat in that moment. Now, just moving on, just want to keep something, just throw a little something out there. Ingredient lists on food labels, kind of off topic, but just something to keep in mind. The first ingredient that's listed is always highest in that product. So whatever you might be eating that maybe is processed, you want to be careful with that sort of thing. Just want to throw that out there. Just moving on now to meal frequency. Now, for me, I usually like 3 meals a day. First meal, before the workout is usually a smaller one, and then the next two are usually pretty big. And then throughout the day, I'll usually eat something like bananas or a healthier snack, especially something like bananas to replenish that potassium that you might lose during your workouts. I think it's a great thing to include. Not saying you have to, but it's something that I do. And I do have experience doing 2 times a day meal frequency. That worked a lot when I was cutting down last year. Around May, I lost around like 10 pounds pretty quickly, and then eventually did like a slow diet, little recomp down to the high 170s and from around the 190s range, and doing 2 meals a day with a protein shake in between, just to make sure that you're not burning through any kind of protein throughout the day. You want to still make sure you have some meal frequency going on. I found really helped me. Not saying you have to, but it was something that helped me with the diet when I needed it. Just to walk through my daily diet, it's pretty simple. Maybe first meal is like eggs, chicken, and rice, and then usually I have a little bit of cranberry juice just for the energy and for the electrolytes, etc. And then moving on, a post workout meal would be a little bit bigger, a little bit more carbs, a little bit more protein, maybe some fats in there as well. Nothing too complicated again. And then maybe throughout the day, I'll have a banana or two just for the potassium. And then dinner's kind of the same as my lunch. Nothing too crazy, really. It doesn't have to be that complicated, at least for me. And another big thing for if you're weight training, you really want to make sure that you get some semblance of salt in. At least that's something that's worked for me. Just because you can burn through it pretty quickly during a weight training session. Now, just to move on to some still important stuff, but maybe something that's not as relevant to performance in the immediate. You want to know, your terms like macronutrients, micronutrients, especially if you're new. Macronutrients are just like the big nutrients, pretty much. It's your big three. It's your protein, carbohydrates, and fats. They're the energy yielding nutrients. So, protein, carbs, 4 grams. Four per gram for those, 4 calories per gram, and then 9 per gram of fat, so 9 calories per gram. And it's just something to keep in mind. And then your micronutrients are like your vitamins, minerals, stuff that you get from your vegetables. So I usually always make sure I have at least a little bit of vegetables with each meal, just to address those micronutrients. It's the stuff that keeps you healthy. So those are the big topics for nutrition, I would say. But circling back a little bit, we talked about what we could use to fuel our workouts better, especially intra-workout, which I think could be a big game changer. I know it was for me. There was a few sessions that I was having where I felt like I was really lacking in energy towards the end. Sometimes adding in a little bit of intra-workout really helped me out. And on closing up now, just wanted to talk a little bit about what my diet goals are right now. Probably going to be dieting down in May, so I'll probably shift back to 2 times a week, 2 times a day meal frequency. I'll probably consume more protein just to make sure you're not burning through muscle when you're dieting down. And that's about it for nutrition. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and hope you have a great day. Thanks.